This video, I'm gonna convince you to hop on the strictest schedule of your life. Let's start off with why you should trust me. I'm just gonna do this by explaining my story. So about a few years ago, I was like your normal kid, okay? I was addicted to video games. I was addicted to scrolling. I was a lot, actually I was a little worse than normal, okay? I played a lot of video games, like hours and hours a day. I would scroll a lot. And I was on self-improvement at the time. Sorry, gotta flip this over. I was on self-improvement at the time. So I knew that these bad habits were bad for me, and I knew I was supposed to be doing the good habits, like going to the gym, like meditating, but I never did them. And I also made zero progress. And I was stuck in this weird limbo for about 2 years, 3 years, I think, of my life, where basically I knew about self-improvement, I knew about the good habits, but I would constantly fail to meet my super high expectations. I would constantly fail to quit video games, to quit scrolling, and here's the thing, right? When you're in this limbo, life actually gets worse for you. Because even though you know what self-improvement is, before I would play video games just like a blissful, happy kid. I'm playing video games, I'm scrolling, it's all happy, right? It's no harm done. Ignorance is bliss, right? Once I heard about self-improvement, once I knew that these things were bad for me, that's when they started becoming less fun. Now, every time I played video games, because I would still play video games, I would still scroll because I'm an addict. But this time, it wouldn't even be fun anymore or fulfilling because I know it's bad for me. And it's just absolutely soul crushing. So you really don't want to be stuck in that limbo. That's called the self-improvement depression, but I have more videos on that. Let me know if you want to see them. This video is specifically about scheduling. I was stuck in this limbo for a very, very long time, like 3 years, hating myself every single day. When I was in the shower, I'd be like, fuck, man, you got nothing done today. And then I'd always be like, oh, tomorrow's better. Tomorrow never comes, yada, yada, yada. This all stopped when I did one thing, which was schedule my entire life. Now, it also includes having a night routine and a morning routine. So I'm including them all in one package. Because here's just something I figured out, okay? When I was just like minding my day. It didn't really happen in once, but I was just minding my day and I was like, usually the days I do better is when I am able to follow my sleep routine, right? My night routine. So let's start having a night routine. And then so I added a night routine, right? And then after that, what kind of happened was I built a really hard, you can see my schedule behind me. I've been using this for the last year of my life. I built a schedule, right? A skeleton framework for myself that I then filled out so that I know what I'm doing at every single second of the day. And the next day, I slept really well because I implemented a night routine, and I woke up, I immediately knew what I was going to be doing because I had scheduled in my day the day beforehand. And then that day was miraculously better. It was a better on average overall day. Now, obviously, it was not a snap of my fingers, bam, I'm fucking Adonis, I'm David Goggins. But it was a noticeable improvement. And then as self-improvement is up and down, up and down, up and down. There were days where it went down. There were days when it go up. There's days when I wouldn't schedule, when I fuck up my sleep. But on general, this was the main thing I focused on. And gradually my life got better and better and better. I had to study for finals. And that really was what really gave me that final push into self-improvement heaven. That's basically my story. So scheduling and having routines holds a very deep and intimate spot in my heart because it is the main thing I want to say that really broke me out of this self-improvement depression, that really kickstarted my progress. And in this video, I just want to convince you why you should be scheduling and doing your routine as well. So just in case my story didn't convince you, I'm going to give you some very grounded, very logical reasons. So if you're anything like the younger version of myself, who was very logical, very listens to a lot to reason, you should be fully convinced at the end of this video. The first reason you should schedule and you should routine is that it allows you to progressively overload your good habits and also deload your bad habits. So if you've been to the gym at all, you know what progressive overload is. It's basically you do a little bit of weight, right? Let's say I'm on bench press, okay? I was just watching a Hamza video 10 minutes ago. He was talking about this. I'm on bench press. Let's say you can bench 20 kilograms, okay? I'm gonna use pounds actually. He used kilograms because he's fucking British. I'm British, mate. But he used kilograms. I'm using pounds. I'm benching 405. I'm crazy strong, right? I'm benching 405. Let's say I do that for 6 reps. The next week, I would just say, okay, last week I did it for 6 reps. Now let's do it for 7 reps. And then the week after that, I'd be like, okay, I could do it for 7 reps. Now let's try 8 reps. But then I'd fail 8 reps, right? I'd get back to 7. And then the week after that, I'd be like, okay, I did 7 for whiteout. I'm probably stronger. Let's go for 8 reps. And you just progressively overload. It's kind of in the name if you deconstruct it. But it's basically this idea that you add on more work as you are more capable to do that work. Now, this is obvious for all aspects of life. Like, oh, you'd say, obviously, like, you're not going to start off benching like 6,000 pounds, right? Because you're not strong enough. In all aspects of life, you start small and you gradually build and build and build. It's a slow process. You want to do this with your self-improvement as well. But the thing is, when you don't schedule, when you don't have any sort of metrics in your life, that's a very hard thing to do. Because let's say I try to progressively overload, but I never track my workouts. And so I always forget how many reps I did. Oh, did I do 6 last week or did I do 7? Did I do 3 or did I do 4? Did I do 200 pounds or 300 pounds? Okay, yo, that's a humongous difference, right? But just, if you never track, you're gonna fumble, because then you don't know. Well, okay, let's say last week, oh, I did 6 reps, let's do 7. But let's say secretly last week you actually did 7 reps, and then now you just basically wasted. You had another rep in the tank that you didn't use. So in life, you need metrics to track, to improve, to progressively overload. This is something, if you read Deep Work by Cal Newport, he calls the metric black hole. Basically, when you don't have any metrics, everything goes to shit. So you want metrics. And the way you're going to use metrics is through a few things, right? You can use a habit tracker, sure, nice. But I prefer to just use a scheduling and routine. And the way I do this is basically, I do this mainly with the amount of work I do in a day. So when I was just starting self-improvement, I could barely do any work. Like I could do like an hour, 30 minutes straight because my mind's so fucked. I didn't meditate, yada, yada, yada. So what I would do is in my schedule, I knew this, right? I knew like, okay, Ivan, you're a little bit of a retard. You can't do 8 hours of work. Let's schedule in an hour tomorrow, an hour 30. Okay, let's start small, and then we're gonna have, you can fucking rest for 9 hours. You can play video games for 9 hours, whatever. And since it was such a small goal, it was within means, I did it. And then the next week, all I just said, okay, Ivan, last week you were able to do an hour of work every single day. Let's bump that up to an hour and 30 minutes, okay? Like easy, small incremental steps. I did an hour and 30 minutes the next week, and I bumped it up to 2 hours. 2.5, and then I gradually just kept going. Now I can basically work the whole day because your schedule gives you a means to track the amount of work you do. So if I'm not tracking the amount of, oh, what the fuck are you, Jupiter Wallet? Get the fuck out of here. If I'm not tracking the amount of work I do, I don't know. I don't know the amount of work I do. And if I don't know, I can't progressively overload. And you can do this with good habits, bad habits as well, right? You can track the number of hours you do bad habits. You can get like a monitor on your phone or something. But this is just something scheduling allowed me to do. And it's something that's going to allow you to do as well, which is why you should hop on a super strict schedule. By the way, I intend for this to be a part 1 of a 2-part video. The second part is going to teach you how to actually build a schedule that you like, give you lots of tips. This one, I'm just trying to convince people. In self-improvement, a lot of self-improvement YouTubers pioneer things, right? Like what? Like a lot of them pioneer like their own terms, their own methodologies. And I think as a self-improvement YouTuber myself, I know, if there's one thing I want to pioneer, it is this. It's scheduling and it's routine, because this is very important to my life. So I think that this is a message that should be spread loud and clear. The second reason you should schedule is that it completely eliminates decision fatigue. Decision fatigue is basically when you have to make decisions in the day. Do I do this or do I do this? Do I play Hollow Knight Silksong or do I play Roblox? Do I jork with my right hand or do I jork with my left hand? Just these ditty decisions. The reason this is important is because your brain is like a muscle. It has limited decision-making capabilities during the day. An analogy I like to give is that just like, let's say every day you have 100 brain points, and every time you make a decision, you spend these brain points. That means the more decisions there are in your life, in your day, the more brain points are going to be wasted. Obviously, that's not really how your brain works. It doesn't like really work as brain points, but like it sort of works like that, right? Your brain starts at 100 and gradually as you do things with your brain, it goes down and down and down. What would always happen to me before I started scheduling was that I would always make a bunch of decisions. Okay, do I do work right now or should I just go relax? Oh, but I already did an hour of work. Oh, but I didn't get enough done. Oh, should I study right now? What about this? Oh, my friends just asked me, all these like racing thoughts in my brain. I didn't know what I was going to be doing. But the second you hop on a schedule, every second is planned out. You know what you're doing at every second of the day. And when you know what you're doing at every second of the day, there's no room for decision fatigue. It's like this, right? Oh, I'm going to go to gym. In 5 minutes, I'm going to go work. In another 5 minutes, I'm going to go work on a different thing. And then I'm going to go read for an hour. It's very straight. It's very clean. It's very like clear cut. And when you don't have these decision fatigue, your brain essentially has more brain points to spend on the shit that actually matters, like your work, business, your family, your relationships, yada, yada, yada. So scheduling helped me completely eliminate my decision fatigue. It's really been a big improvement for me. The last and probably the most important thing having a schedule gave me is that for the first time in my life, I felt grounded and in control. Because before, I had no control over my life. I wanted to quit video games. I wanted to quit scrolling, but I made literally zero progress in like 3 years. Like no progress at all. And you can imagine how painful that cycle would be, right? Constantly, every single day, wanting to be better, wanting to get work done, to quit your bad habits, to finally be a better person. But every single day for 3 years, it's like 1,000 days, constantly falling short of that expectation. It really takes a huge toll on your mental health. But the moment I started scheduling, that was the first time I ever in my life felt like I had some actual control over what I did during the day, what I happened. Because even though nothing changed, like I still did it, even when I was scheduling myself, because I was progressively overloading, I was starting small. I still played 8 hours of video games and only did like an hour of work. I still like scrolled for 4 hours and wasted most of the day. But the good thing was, this was purposeful. I did this on purpose. I said, okay, Ivan, you get to play 8 hours of video games and you only have to do an hour of work because I know you're stupid. Whereas before, I had no clue. I had no fucking idea what I wanted to do. I wanted to work for like 8 hours, to work the whole day, to completely change my life. But I would instead just play video games 8 hours. It wasn't according to the plan. The moment you start scheduling, things go according to a plan, your plan. And that is really, really powerful. It really, really gives you a lot of motivation. Even though it's like your life didn't change. Yeah, if you look at it before and after I started scheduling, 8 hours of video games, 1 hour of work, 1 hour of work. It didn't change. But the only difference is, in one, it all went according to plan. The 8 hours of video games was according to plan. And the other, it wasn't. And then so there's a lot of comfort and a lot of, what's the word? A lot of comfort. It's like, you know that scene in The Dark Knight? Oh, I can't believe I remember this. You know the scene in The Dark Knight where the Joker says to Batman, and he's like, see, people don't panic when things go according to plan. That's basically like what I'm trying to say here, right? When you schedule, you are grounded, you are in control, you control what goes on in your day. And as long as you follow that, you reach that expectation, no matter how low it is, you feel good about yourself. And when you feel good about yourself, your mental health improves, life gets a lot better. It also helps you progressively overload, like I said before. So when you do like an hour 30 or 2 hours, even if you fall short a little bit, right? Let's say I scheduled in 2 hours of work, but I only did an hour 30. I'd be like, okay, well, it's still progress and it's still way better than before. And it's like, it's only 30 minutes. I still feel pretty good. So those are the reasons to schedule. There's a lot more. These are just like the 3 main important ones I want to say. I really, really hope, like, if this video can convince at least one person to hop on like a really strict schedule, or help at least one person like really set their mind in stone, I think it'll be worth it, because this shit genuinely changed my life, and I think it genuinely has the power to change yours as well. That's everything I want to say though. Thank you guys for watching. I don't know yet because I'm like recording this, right? The editing might be a little lazy. If it is, I'd like to apologize, because like I could make the excuse that this week was really busy, and like it was pretty busy, but like if I was really, really focused and I didn't like waste as much time as I did, I could have had this video done. So yeah, I really don't have excuses. I'm sorry, I should work harder as well. You see, like yeah, that's another thing. A little bonus point, okay? All these self-improvement YouTubers and guys you see online who preach this shit, they're not perfect, okay? And don't you ever believe that, and don't you ever try and like reach their expectations. Recognize that we are all on this journey together, and that even the greats can be greater. I'm not calling myself great, by the way. I've still got a fucking truckload of self-improvement to go on. But yeah, that's basically everything. See you guys in the next one.